Hello, I'm Catherine McBride. I'm going to lead you through a Vinyasa Level 2 practice today. This is courtesy of the Rochester Athletic Club. If there's anything that I ask you to do that doesn't sound right for your body, doesn't feel right today, then just skip it. You can take child's pose, which is basically hands and knees with your seat on your heels. You can just sit down, you can lie down, you can stop anytime. At the end of the practice, we do Shavasana, and that is lying flat on your back. I strongly encourage you to take Shavasana as long as you'd like. If the class goes a little short and we have a long Shavasana together, that's great. But if you want to rest more at the end of practice, I strongly encourage you to do so. So, welcome everyone. Today's practice is going to be very Ashtanga yoga, the way I learned it from David Swenson. We're going to start it with a long warm-up, 5 each of Sun Salute A and Sun Salute B. So standing at the top of your mat, inhale, roll your shoulders back, tuck your tail a little bit, exhale. Sun Salute A, number 1. Inhale, arms high, and exhale, swan dive to forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, feet back to plank and chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. You want to take 5 breaths here. Long, deep breath in through the nostrils. Exhale through the nostrils. Try to breathe all of your air out. So maybe you're on breath number 3 or 4 now. Big breath in. Full breath out, pushing your seat back. Your heels are moving towards the ground. They don't have to ever touch the ground. Last big breath in here. Big exhale, bend your knees, bring your feet up to your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up with a flat back, reach high. Let's go in for number 2, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, maybe you alternate which foot you step back with. Plank, chaturanga, urdhva mukha, upward facing, adho mukha, downward facing. 5 big breaths. See if you can get a lot of length between your wrist and your tailbone, also from your tailbone to your heels. Breathe 3. Big breath in 4. Last breath in, you can come up on your tiptoes, push your seat back a little bit if you'd like. On the exhale, bend your knees, step your feet forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Bend back a little if it feels good, and dive in for number 3 of Sun Salute A. Inhale, half. Exhale, lower. Upward facing dog, breathing in. Open your heart, open your chest. Exhale, lift your hips. Breathing out, downward facing dog. Legs as straight as you can make them. Heels as low as they'll go comfortably. Stretching the back of your body. 5 breaths here. Maybe tuck your chin toward your chest to lengthen from the base of your skull to the bottoms of your feet. Let's take 2 more breaths. Good. Last deep breath in, lengthen your spine, lengthen the back of your legs. Exhale, bend your knees. Step up, inhale, half lift. Exhale, full Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Bend back a little if it feels good. Exhale, swan dive into number 4. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, that's half fold. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Concentrate on feeling the breath flow into your body, expanding your torso, flowing out of your body as you push with your low belly to empty your lungs. Breath number 3. 4. Make your exhale complete. Last breath in here.
Full exhale, number 5. At the bottom of the exhale, bend your knees, hold your breath, and bring your feet forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, full Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way up. And the last one, bend back if it feels good, forward fold. Good, inhale, half. Exhale, step, possibly jump back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. If you feel tired, you can put your knees on the floor. You can sink your hips down to your heels and rest like this, reaching your arms out far so you still get an upper body stretch while resting. Good. Let's take one more big long breath here. Big exhale. Bend your knees. Bring your feet up to your hands. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, full Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. And arms at your sides. Good. Roll your shoulders back a couple of times. Bend your knees a little, tuck your tail a little, come back into mountain pose. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bring your feet together. This is our second warm-up, Sun Salute B. We'll do this 5 times as well. Inhale to chair. Exhale, stand and forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing. 1 foot steps forward. Inhale up to warrior 1. Exhale to chaturanga. Urdhva Mukha and Adho Mukha. Left foot steps forward. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. And exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale up and exhale, down face. 5 breaths here. Try not to let your chest sink towards the floor. Instead, lengthen. So you get a little bit more space between your ears and your shoulders. A little bit more length in the forearms and the spine. The hamstring stretching long. Last big breath in here. And exhale. Empty lung, step forward, feet are together. Inhale, half. Exhale, full. Inhale, chair. Exhale, Samastitihi. Number 2, same thing. Inhale, chair. Exhale, stand and dive. Inhale, half. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale down. 1 foot forward, Vira 1. Breathe in as you come up and breathe out as you go down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2nd foot forward, Vira 1. Breathe in up and exhale down. Cycle through upward facing dog and downward facing dog for 5 breaths here. Think about spreading your fingers wide. Think about rolling your shoulder blades away from each other to broaden your back. Breath 3. Big breath. 4. Last big breath in here. As you release that breath, bend your knees, step up, feet are together. Inhale, half. Exhale, full fold. Inhale, chair. Arms as straight as you can make them. Exhale, Samastitihi. Number 3, chair. And fold. Ardha Uttanasana. Chaturanga Dandasana. Urdhva Mukha, Adho Mukha. 1 foot, Vira 1. See if you can come all the way up and then all the way back down again. Same thing on the second side. Push back. 2nd foot forward, Vira 1. And cycle back through, finishing in down dog for 5 breaths. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breathe. Big, slow, lung-filling breaths with a complete exhale every time. 3. 4. 5. Good. Bend your knees, jump or step your feet forward, feet are together. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Lifting your chest, exhale, Samastitihi. That means equal and stable. Number 4, inhale, chair. Exhale, dive. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. And exhale, down. First foot, warrior 1. Hips are still squared to the front. Arms come high as you breathe in. Exhale all the way back through. Second foot forward, warrior 1. Comes right where your hand was. Back heel drops. Breathing in as you come up nice and strong. Exhale back down through. Good, 5 breaths here. Maybe you want to take a break. This is our warm-up. You should be getting warm. If you're getting tired, too tired to go on, just come to your knees. If you want to push a little bit farther on one leg, maybe bring the opposite leg to the sky. I'm getting a deeper stretch on the hamstring of the bottom leg now. Whatever you do on one side, you check it out on the other side. Let's take one more breath here in down dog. Full exhale. Feet come to hands, feet are together. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale as you come to chair. Oops. And exhale, come to standing. Good, last one. Inhale, chair. And fold. Half lift. Step or jump back. Plank and lower. It's okay if your knees are on the floor. Upward facing dog, really open up your chest, lift your head up out of your shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot forward, big breath. Exaggerate the movement now, we're all warmed up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Upward facing, downward facing. One more side. And we have a little rest if you'd like. Breathing in, coming up, warrior 1. Virabhadrasana 1, hands back to the floor. Chaturanga. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Good, and rest here. If down dog isn't restful, knees on the floor, knees open, toes together if you'd like. Sink your hips down and rest here. Let's take 2 more breaths. Good. Last great big huge breath in. Let all that air out as you step your feet forward. Feet are together. Inhale, half lift. Let's just take a moment here in the half lift. Your hands can be on your shins, your feet, the floor. I like to drag the floor towards my feet and try to flatten your back as much as possible to lengthen your back. And then we use that long, flat back to go farther as you fold in, go farther down with the crown of your head closer to the floor. Good. Now bend your knees, come up into the strongest chair of the day, squeezing your legs together, making sure your arms are as straight as you can make them, and then lift them up and lift your chest up while taking deep breaths. Make sure you're comfortable with your breath. Let's take one more big breath in here. Full exhale. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. I like to open up a little bit, arms wide. Come all the way to standing, Samastitihi. Good. We're going to carry on with our practice now with a couple of forward folds. These are the fingers that you're going to use in grabbing your big toe, just like this.
You slide fingers between your big toe and the next toe. You grab onto it. That's the traditional yoga toe grip. So we'll do that in a moment. But for now, let's take our feet, lift each feet up and put your hand underneath it with the palm to the sole of your foot. All the way up so your toes are reaching the bend of your wrist. Your knees can be really bent if you'd like. Straighten your legs to the best of your ability. Inhale, make your spine really long. Dig in with your toes at your wrists and fold forward. If your legs are bent and you're like this, that's okay. Try to get your head close to the floor. If you can straighten your legs and do it, that's fine too. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Good. Lengthen your spine. Do your best. Last big breath in here. It's called hand to foot pose. Big exhale. Bend your knees. You can release and use that toe grip. So I'm going to grab each big toe and do the same thing. Inhale, lengthen my spine, straighten my arms, my legs can be bent. And then exhale, draw the crown of my head forward. See how my elbows are moving out to the side as I come forward. Straighten your legs the best as you can. Pulling the crown of your head toward the floor. Pulling up on your toes. Your toes are actually coming up off the floor. Don't make it hurt, just make it feel good in the bottoms of your feet. Good. Last big breath here. Big exhale, release your hands. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, come all the way up, slowly. Shoulders roll back, exhale, release your hands. Good. This is a vinyasa class, so we're going to do the sort of the sun salute A between postures. But we're going to come into a next posture here, which is triangle pose. Right foot steps forward, left foot comes back. Your feet are lined up. Inhale, the same arm as the front foot reaches out without bending forward. Front hand comes to bottom leg, top hand comes to the sky. Triangle pose, 5 big breaths. Try to keep both legs straight. Try to keep your chest, your rib cage lined up directly over your bottom leg, not leaning out in front. Good. Let's take one more big breath here. And exhale, bring both hands to the floor. Step your back foot up and then switch sides. Same thing on the second side. Good. So now the other hand is high to the sky. Both legs are straight. Reach up with the top hand. Reach down with the bottom hand. And breathe. Good. When you're ready, exhale, bring both hands to the floor. Let's go through vinyasa, starting with plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. One foot steps forward, again in a line. This time the front knee is bent for Parsva Konasana or extended side angle. Make sure that this knee is not beyond your foot. Front arm, forearm to the thigh, or some of us can reach down a little lower. Top arm to the sky. Open up, the opposite of this. Open up so your chest reaches towards the sky. And then bring your top arm beyond your head to lengthen that side of your body. Maybe you bend your front knee a little bit more. Maybe you adjust your hand position. Take a few breaths here. Good. We're lengthening one side of the body. Breathe in, feel that expanding of your rib cage. Breathe out. So let's take one more breath in and then we'll switch to the second side. Good. Exhale, look down. Inhale, let's come up to standing. Let's just rotate our feet and bend the other leg the other direction. So this side might be different. Come into it slowly. Good. So now we're lengthening the other side of the body. Roll your chest up towards the sky. Reach that top arm nice and long. Good. Continue to breathe. Big breath in, big breath out. If you become too tired to take a deep breath, or you're too deep into the pose that you're only taking a little breath, then back off. And make sure that you take a big breath And carry on. Good. We want freedom of breath. Let's take one more breath here. When you're ready to exhale, look down. Inhale, come back up. Windmill both hands to the floor, one side of your mat, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Step or jump your feet to the center of your mat, and then round up to standing. Good. Shoulders roll back too. We're going to do hand to big toe pose. I'll be facing you. It's the same hand grip. So here I'm going to take my left hand, my left toe. My right hand goes firmly on my hip, and I'm going to push in with my hand. Stand up as straight as you can. Knee can be on the outside. And then stretch that foot forward. If you feel wobbly, bend your base leg. Or straighten out the best that you can. And let's take a few breaths here. Good. See if you can get your shoulders even. Your reaching arm, shoulder, we don't want to be out in front. We want to pull that back. 4, good. Gaze at one thing that's not moving. 5, good. Let's open that foot to the same side. Open it up and have your gaze go to the other side. Find one thing to look at. Let's take 5 breaths here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Bring that foot back to the front, and let's let it go and just hold it up there. Do your best. Don't lean back. Your torso be straight. Breath number 3. Good. Do your best. 4. Lift that foot up a little higher. 5. Excellent. Whew. Let's take it on the second side. So opposite hand. Grab your big toe. Bend your base leg to get ready for it. And then straighten up if you can. Extend that front leg. Good. Deep breath and a strong low belly help with balance. Focus on one point with your eyes. Big breath number 3. 4. 5. Let's open it up. Your leg goes to one side. Your vision goes to the same angle to the other side. Breathe 1. 2. If you fall, just come right back. 3. 4. And 5. Bring your leg back to the front. Let's hold it up there. 1. Good. Strong 5. 2. 3. 4. Good. One more breath. Lift it up a little bit more. 5. Excellent. Come to the top of your mat for vinyasa. Arms high. Swan dive to forward fold. Inhale, lift a little. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's come into a deep lunge. So let's bring one foot forward, doesn't matter which one. The foot comes to right about where your hand was. So your feet are this wide, not like this. They're this wide on your mat. Front knee should not go beyond your foot. So this is dangerous for your knee. We want your foot to be directly underneath your knee. Your back knee can be down for balance if you'd like. And as you get stronger, as you get more flexible, maybe you're able to pick up your back knee and see if you can straighten your back leg. It's not going to be perfectly straight, but you should feel a deep stretch in the quad of the back leg. If you feel comfortable, hands can come up to your front knee. Maybe the back leg arm comes up to the sky. Maybe both arms come up. Make sure that your spine is growing long before you bend back a little bit. You don't want to bend with just the low back, but make a real long spine, and then maybe take an upper back bend. Good. Lift your back knee, push your back heel away. Let's take one more deep breath here. When you're ready, exhale, bring your hands to the floor. Walk your front foot out to the side a little bit more. You want to take a little bit deeper pose. You can bring your hands to the floor on the inside of your foot, bend your elbows,
and start to bring your chest a little lower. Some of us can get our elbows on the floor. Some of us that's pushing too far. Some of us have our back knee down, and that's okay too. Take one more breath wherever you are here. And when you're ready, step that front foot back. Let's go through Vinyasa. You can always skip the Vinyasa. Chaturanga, up dog, down dog. We'll step the other foot forward, right where your hand is. And then find your balance. Maybe your hands are on the floor to start with and you're just organizing your legs, lifting up your back knee a little, pushing your back heel back a little. Seeing if you can take a deep breath. If you feel good, stay where you are. If you feel like you need more challenge, hands can come to the front knee. Maybe one arm comes up. See how that feels. Then add the other arm if you'd like. If you want to add a back bend, go ahead. Let's take 5 breaths wherever you are now. Hands on the floor, lying on your belly on the floor if you feel like it. We're in a deep lunge. It's actually called crescent pose when you add a little back bend. Good. Let's take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Big breath in through your nose. Big exhale. See if you can relax in the same pose without changing anything. Last big breath in. Good. If you're all done, you can go through Vinyasa, or you can put your hands on the inside of your foot. Maybe walk your foot out a little bit farther and start to bring your chest down a little bit lower. Long as it feels good. Deep, full, smooth breath. We want to gain freedom through our practice, not punish our bodies. Certainly not compete with someone else or who we used to be. Take another couple of breaths here, and when you're done, step that front foot back, and let's go through Vinyasa. Nice and slow. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Really lift your head up out of your shoulders, and then curl your tail up first in downward facing dog. Take a rest here if you'd like, or step, let's go right foot. I'm gonna do my actual right foot forward, not mirroring to warrior 1. Good. So now my hips are pointed straight ahead. My legs are wide, my chest is pointing straight ahead. And I like to have my hands together, but hands apart is okay. Good. Maybe you tuck your tail a little, pull your navel in a little bit. Think about your rib cage not popping out down below, pulling that in a little bit. Take another long breath. And as you exhale, walk your front foot into the center and move to warrior 2. You have to think about bringing our spine straight up and down. Many of us want to reach out this way. Good. Gaze to your front hand, middle fingernail, and breathe. This is warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Good, maybe 1 more breath here. Good, now we're gonna move to warrior 3. So I'm gonna move my front foot back a little bit, turn my hips toward the front, interlace all but my pinky or my index and thumb, and then step forward. Beginning warrior 3 is here. Maybe you bring your back leg up, you bring your torso forward, straightening the bottom leg, extending in 3 directions. Big long breath in. 4, 5. At the end of this exhale, come back to warrior 1, and we'll go through Vinyasa. Hands to the floor, Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Take a break if you'd like. Or step the left foot, second foot forward, for warrior 1. Remember, your hips are squared to the front. Think about your tail. Think about your ribs. Breathe. 3, relax. 4, 5, nice big breath. Walk your front foot into the center a little bit, come to warrior 2. So first square off the hips and the shoulders. Without having the shoulders move, turn your head as far as you can, looking out over your front hand. And breathe, shoulders nice and low. My colleague Pamela showed her class how to
Bring palms to the sky to bring your shoulders down. Leave your shoulders low while you turn your palms back down to the floor. And it works every time. Last big breath in here in Warrior Two. Good. Exhale. I'm going to move my front foot back a little bit so I have some room. Come into Warrior Three. So I like to leave my front standing leg bent while I straighten out my body, coming closer and closer to parallel to the floor. Then I see if I can straighten my base leg. Breathe. Three. Good. 4. Lengthen everything for the last big breath. As you exhale, let's land in Warrior One and go through Vinyasa. Take a rest if you'd like. Upward facing dog feels good. Downward facing dog. Let's all put our knees on the floor, toes together, and take a rest in Child's Pose. This pose is appropriate anytime in any class. It's a good way to rest. Brings everything to the floor. It allows your heart rate to come down a little bit if your heart rate is starting to climb higher than is comfortable. And it allows you to take a couple of deep breaths without moving, which is good. So maybe another breath or two there. And we're going to get into a strengthening pose that has a couple of options. So if you're happy in Child's Pose, stay there. If you're happy in the pose that I'm in right now, just sitting, stay there as well. In fact, you might want to watch for a moment. So handstand is not something you ever have to do in your life, but it's good to be able to hold your own body weight. So rather than throwing yourself up into handstand against a wall, which is fine, but if you haven't done it since 5th grade, your arms and shoulders might not be strong enough for you to do it now. So we can do some strengthening before we try it, possibly weeks from now. I'm going to recommend that you interlace your fingers and put your elbows on the ground. And then your thumbs are sticking up, and we're going to try to keep the chin off the thumbs while you straighten your legs. So here there's more body weight on your shoulders and on your elbows. Walk your feet forward a little bit, and then lean forward and try to keep your shoulders up as high as you can. So I'm really lifting my body weight with my shoulders. Then when I get tired, I lean back and maybe bend my knees. And then I come forward again, maybe walking my feet a little bit farther forward. Take a couple of breaths here and then come back. So that's a strengthening exercise for handstand. So if you'd like to just do that, that's great. If you want to do something that's a little bit more advanced, and if you're into handstand, you can do it, go ahead. Just know what's beyond you and know what's on the walls around you in case they come down. Putting your hand wide apart, fingers spread wide. Just kick a little bit. Alternate your legs. Kick with one leg, kick with the other leg. And then over time, you might get a little higher. And you get a little hang time as you go up there. And then at some point, you can switch legs up above. I've never been a good handstander. And then when you get tired, you get a little bit tired, stop. You don't want to get too tired. Let's go into Child's Pose and rest. While we're using our arms like that, sometimes it feels good in Child's Pose to cross your hands on your low back and rest this way. Let a little bit of blood flow out of your hands. Good. You can stay resting there as long as you'd like. This is a good example of, if this pose is not for you, skip it. It's all good. Good. So most of us are down close to the floor. Let's go into a seated pose, which is, we always do stick pose, which is legs straight, spine straight, fold forward as deeply as you can. Now let's take it slow. So as you inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, walk your hands a little bit farther down. And each way for 5 breaths, going down a little bit farther. If when you sit down, you're very rounded, put your hands behind you to just make your spine a little bit more straight. And this is your forward fold. Maybe pull your toes back a little bit. But if you can come down a little bit farther, take one last breath as you lengthen your spine, extend a little bit farther into the forward fold. And when you're ready to come up, inhale your head up first, and then exhale, use your arm strength to push yourself back up again. Let's go into seated half-bound lotus forward fold. So we're gonna take one foot, the outside edge of the foot, and put it into the crook of the other hip. That's half lotus. If this really hurts, just put your foot on the floor. So half bound lotus looks like this, and seated tree looks like this, with your whole foot visible. Either way, one knee is bent, one leg is straight, and let's just fold forward this way. If you're in half bound lotus, you can reach around with the same bent leg and see if you can grab your own toe just to open up your shoulder and fold forward that way. Let's take 2 more breaths here. If you get into a pose and it really feels good, feel free to stay longer than we do. That's good. 1 more breath here. Nice big exhale. Inhale the head up first. Exhale your body up. Switch sides. This side's going to be different. Maybe half lotus works on this side and it didn't on the other side, vice versa. Good. Your standing foot that's out there, pull those toes back with your own body strength. Maybe you reach around and grab, maybe not. Whatever hands are free, reach forward and bow. And be grateful for your leg. Look at your big toe and be grateful that you have a big toe, because walking would be a lot harder without a big toe. So be grateful. Nice long breath in. This is just a complicated forward fold. Feel the stretch in the hamstring of your front leg. Feel your shoulder opening if you're binding around your back to grab your toe. Last big breath here. Full exhale. On the inhale, bring the head up. The exhale, bring the rest of the body up. Hands to the front of your mat. Let's go through Vinyasa. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. So now we're going to go into the modified version of that, which is seated tree. I'll do it this way. So 1 foot folded in, it could be either one, standing on your inner thigh. The temptation is to fold into the opening between your legs. Try to square your torso towards your front foot and fold forward. I like to take my front hand, bring it to the opposite side of my ankle to square my shoulders. Fold forward. Once you get down there, take 5 breaths. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 breaths just to get there. Good. Don't go too far. Go to a place where you feel a stretch. Be happy there and take a bigger breath. Maybe your chin drops down to your chest. For 2 or 3 more breaths here. When you're ready, inhale, head up, exhale, body up. Same thing on second side. You stand on your inner thigh, don't let your foot disappear underneath your leg. Focus your shoulders towards your front foot and fold. Good. Good. On this breath number 3, maybe you extend your spine a little longer, get a little bit deeper into the pose. 1 more breath here. Inhale, head up. Exhale, body up. Hands to the front of your mat. Go through Vinyasa. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Even if it's just a little version of this, downward facing dog. Once again, we're going to come to sitting. So you have one leg straight, and I'm going to move my mat back so you can see a little better. One leg straight. The other leg bent, but 1 hand width distance between your foot and your thigh. This knee is deeply bent, and this foot is as close to your body as you can get it. This isn't out, it's pulled back. Good. We're going to then take the opposite hand or elbow on the outside of your knee. Make sure that you don't push your knee to the side, but keep it really solid. Inhale, make a tall spine. Standing foot that's out there is active and pulled back. Exhale. Then twist with empty lungs. So the elbow and knee together is your leverage. Take 4 more breaths here. Make sure that you can take a deep breath. You're not twisting to maximum capacity. Twist about 70% and then let your breath do the rest. Make sure that you measure a deep breath that gets you to the deepest twist you want today. Maybe 1 more breath here. And a nice big long exhale.
Inhale your head to the front. Exhale, unwind and switch sides. So hand or the elbow, make sure the knee is stable. Tall spine, exhale, twist, and now we breathe 5. 3, 4. Last big exhale. If this feels really great, stay here as long as you want. Otherwise, inhale your head to the front, exhale your body to the front, Vinyasa. We'll end up together in downward facing dog. So if you're skipping part of the Vinyasa, that's fine. So I am going to move my mat out a little bit again. In down dog, let's lift the right leg high up to the sky. You can point and flex your foot a little bit. You can bend your knee and straighten it a little bit. Good. Then take that top bent leg and we're going to sweep it down underneath into Pigeon Pose. So your shin is coming closer to parallel to the top of your mat. Most of us won't be parallel. And then I walk my back leg back a little bit. And I don't want to roll over and sit on my bent leg hip. I want to be sort of hovering. So right now I can feel a big stretch on my back, my bent leg hip. I'm going to walk my hands forward and let my torso weight pull me toward the floor. It's pulling my groin, my pelvis to the floor, and that is stretching my bent leg, hip, glutes, and all those big muscles and tendons. Make sure that your head is resting on something. So if you feel like you're high up in the sky, you can stack 2 fists, and that brings you up about 6 inches. You can have blocks or pillow. And then as you become a little bit more flexible, you can come maybe down to 1 fist or maybe forehead on the floor. What's important in this pose, and what I want you to think about right now, is to relax the muscles that you feel are really clenching. And that's usually the bent leg, butt cheek, and hip. So try to think about, as you inhale, let those muscles shine. And as you exhale, let them dissolve, melt, become very, very soft. I always imagine a chocolate bar out in the hot sun, where the shape doesn't really change very much, but it's very pliable. You put your finger in it, it's very soft. So imagine that with your bent leg hip, right where you feel all of the stretch. If you feel pain in your bent leg knee, roll out of the pose right away. This isn't for the knee, this is for the hip. My teacher, Paul Grilly, says, don't punish your knee for what your hip can't do. So we have about another, let's say, 5 breaths here. Make your breath nice and deep. I'll just count down. 1. Stay as still as you can. 2. 3. 4. Great big breath in for our last one. And 5. If this feels really great, stay here as long as you'd like. 10 minutes is not too long in this pose. When you're ready, slowly come up, bring your hands out in front. We're going to come back into downward facing dog. We're going to do it very slowly. That bent leg that was on the floor, we're going to lift that back up, open, the opposite of what was happening right now. High up to the sky, roll your hip open, maybe bend and straighten that top leg a couple of times. Good. If it feels good, you can shake it. Some of us like that, some of us don't. Then when you feel ready, let's just switch to the other side. You can go through full chaturanga, up dog and down dog if you'd like. Otherwise, the other leg to the sky. Let's get that quad open first before we close it. Good. So bend and straighten your top leg. And I like to keep it bent, then I sweep it down in front. This side is always very different. Try to get your shin moving toward parallel to the top of your mat. I always move my back foot back a little bit. Then I always walk my hands away from my front knee.
So I'm just gonna walk onto the other side of my mat. Before I walk my elbows out and make sure everything is here, my groin is kind of hovering over the floor. Nothing is sitting firmly on the floor. So I have someplace to go. Now I'm gonna put my head down and just stay here for about a minute, maybe a little longer. Try to relax. Those muscles that are clenching, they clench to protect you from going too far, from tearing the muscles and the tendons. These are really important parts of your body. We want to add freedom. We don't want to damage. So stay still, but sort of give in to the stretch that's happening. Allow your soft tissue to soften. That's the fascia, tendons. Allow it to soften and reshape. And just be very still for the next minute. I'll give you a 5-breath countdown. Let's start our last 5 breaths. Breathe in 1. 2. 3. 4. And last big breath. As you exhale that breath, slowly start to walk yourself back to downward facing dog. Lift that back leg up nice and high. Bend and straighten it. Roll it, shake it if it feels good. Good. Then bring both feet back to the floor. Let's go through Vinyasa. Chaturanga, upward facing, downward facing. We're going to do Navasana just 2 times. So step forward and sit down in the center of your mat. Spine would be as long and straight as possible. Lean back, balance. Maybe you keep your legs bent. Maybe you hold on a little bit under your knees. Maybe you straighten one leg or both legs. We're already on breath 3. 4, strong body. 5, cross your legs and crisscross the normal, comfortable way and fold forward. Good. Let your belly muscles relax completely. Let's come back up for the last one. Hold it nice and strong. Whatever shape you're in is good, as long as you're breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Cross it the other way. So the awkward way, fold forward. Good. Just take a nice breath while you're down there. And then when you're ready, come on up and bring the soles of your feet together for Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together. Pull your feet in as close to your groin as you can and fold forward. Keep your spine flat as long as you can. Then start to round with the low back first, middle back, upper back. Good. Take a nice long breath here. And take one more. The next pose we're going to do is shoulder stand. So inhale your head up, exhale your body up. If you're new to shoulder stand, you don't know what it is, just stay sitting and watch. And do it next time. If you know shoulder stand, go ahead into it. We're going to hold it for only 5 breaths this time. Beginning shoulder stand is legs in the sky. Once you get a little bit more confident to get your weight up, you lift your hips and you hold on to that. Maybe stage 2. Never ever look around in shoulder stand. Those of you who are doing it, do not look anywhere but your own ceiling. And we'll just count a few breaths here. You can have your weight on your hands, or you could pike a little bit and take your hands off of your low back. I prefer doing it with my hands on my low back. And this is just letting everything that's usually low come up to the top of your body. Blood and lymph and energy. Just the opposite of standing up. Good.
If you have other postures that you like to do after shoulder stand, plow or any of those, feel free. Otherwise, let's pike at the hips. Don't look around. Hands on the floor. Slowly lower yourself back down. I like to cross my legs and just come up and open your throat a little bit. Push your chest to the sky a little bit. Open your throat just for a breath or two. And then after you feel like you've gotten your throat open, you can lie back down on your back for some back bending. I'm going to show you one back bend, and we're going to hold it for 5 breaths, and that's all. Well, first of all, let's do bridge pose. So if you're going into the pose, don't look at the screen. Sit up if you want to look. Bridge pose is your knees are bent, feet are close to your rear end, shoulders are on the floor, nose pointed at the sky the whole time, lift your hips off the floor. This is bridge. Wheel pose is on your feet and your hands lifting up like this. So any kind of back bend you want, take 5 breaths while you're up there. Good. 2. You can come down whenever you want. 3, 4. When you come down from wheel, tuck your chin, bring yourself down slowly, and let's everyone gently either bring your feet up to the sky or draw your knees into your chest. It's a gentle complementary pose or counter pose. This is a forward bend. Good. On your back with your knees in toward your chest, let both knees drop to one side as you open your arms wide. You can straighten the top leg for a little bit deeper twist. You can take the bottom leg and have that be the length of your mat for an even deeper twist. Good. Take a few breaths there. It's just a gentle closing twist. Then switch sides. I'm going to straighten out one leg, draw the other knee into my chest, and roll to the side. So that my shoulders stay on the floor, my hips are rolling, my opposite knee is coming closer to the floor, and the arm is stretching out to the side. A breath or 2 more here, or as long as you'd like. Good. When you feel ready, gentle twist to the first side again. Draw your knees into your chest. Then with your knees down, feet come up. Hold on to your feet from the outside and pull your knees down toward your armpits. Happy baby. Flatten your tailbone to the floor. Pull down as hard as is comfortable. Good. You can rock from side to side if you like, if that feels good. And if you want, you can come back to one more vinyasa. From here, you want to roll all the way up, standing. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Everything feels more free now. Downward facing dog. And then my tradition is we just roll over on the back right here in Shavasana. My legs aren't touching, my feet just flop to the sides. My arms are away from my body and my palms are facing the sky. I strongly recommend that you cover up with something. Where I am today, you know, it might be 70 degrees, but because I've built body heat by my practice, I want to keep that heat in close to me. So a blanket or a towel or 2, socks and a jacket is nice. And Shavasana is a silent rest. And so I'm going to be silent for the next 5 minutes. You'll hear me breathing maybe, but I'm just going to be very quiet so you can rest. Good. Breath is normal. Body is heavy.
Your mind is at rest. Your body is at rest. Feel your breath flow in through your in-breath into your body like light and energy. Feel your breath flow out as you relax even more. Be aware of the breath passing in through your nostrils, cold or cool, inflating your body, adding life and oxygen. And as you exhale, feel it's warm and moist, and your body relaxes as you exhale. Let your next breath in be a little bit deeper. Maybe you start to feel and see that breath reach down into your limbs. When it reaches your fingers, move your fingers. When it reaches your feet, move your toes. And then maybe you reach your arms up over your head, stretch your body long, roll over to one side if you're on the floor still, and come up to sitting. And we always like to take just a moment to be grateful for our bodies, our capability, our energy, our lives. Take a moment to be grateful that you have time and ability and breath to practice. We are all one. We are all in this together. What we do impacts everything around us. So choose kindness and be free from fear and full of love. Namaste. And I'm very glad you practiced with us today.